go-to source for all things nerdy.
In bite-sized form. Joining us today is our friend, James Johnston.
Hello, Internet.
And I'm Jameson Borak.
And I'm Marion Mason.
And today we'll be talking about tablets, but first, let's start off, as we always do, with some news.
Yep.
All right, 3 minutes on the clock. Let's start off. Michael Arndt, writer of Toy Story 3, Little Miss Sunshine, did rewrites for the Phineas and Ferb movie, which is in the works. He is officially announced to be the writer of Star Wars 7.
Woo! I have hope.
So let's see where this goes.
A new hope.
Such hope.
They're going to throw out basically all the old expanded universe stuff. I don't know if you guys were big into the books, but they had a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff with Luke's kids, a lot of stuff with
They just
Han
totally threw
Solo's
that
kids.
out. It's all new.
Hey,
So
writer
we'll
of
see.
Toy Story 3 is behind this. Throw out whatever. Give him the reins. He's not only writing this episode, but he did the treatment for the entire trilogy. So I love Toy Story 3. I'm a huge Pixar fan. Toy Story 3 is incredible.
He's part of the Pixar Bain Trust too, so he's clearly he knows his stuff.
Pixar's involved. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be great. But you know what? Next story.
All right, next story. Pendleton Ward, the creator of Adventure Time, our favorite cartoon, has a new series that launched online called Bravest Warriors. It's this YouTube channel called Cartoon Hangover. They do a lot of cartoons that are specifically Bravest Warriors, as well as one of them cartoons that are directed for like our age group and like adults in general. They've got a lot of like raunchy, naughty kind of humor and like swears and stuff that like they couldn't put into Adventure Time.
But not too far. It's not like too much.
Too far.
It's great.
It's tasteful.
It's like just the evolution of animation, and I really enjoyed it. It's incredibly fun. It literally is if you took Adventure Time and put it in space.
Yeah.
It's great. A ton of fun.
Done by Freighter Studios.
I thought it was interesting. It's definitely got the gorgeous art style.
Yeah.
The writing's about the same. Writing is hit or miss for people, but I mean, it still looks great.
I like
it's great. It's 5 minutes of your time. Go watch it.
Yep.
It's awesome.
All right.
All right.
Next one.
And finally, George Clooney's the front runner for Brad Bird's 1952.
What is 1952? I have not heard of it. Please tell me about
Damon
it.
Lindelof is writing an original sci-fi movie for Disney, directed by Brad Bird, who, if you watched our last Big Bite, we talked about he's my pick for Star Wars, but he's busy with this other film, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be completely original. There's no real details known about it, but really excited for it. George Clooney is a really interesting pick for it. He doesn't really do these tentpole films, like this type of. I feel like he doesn't do this a whole lot. And
Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, he usually does more straight dramas or something like that. But this is going to be like a big blockbuster tentpole film, and I'm really excited. George Clooney, Brad Bird, Damon Lindelof. It's quite
Should be
the crew.
interesting.
Yeah,
Looks good.
We actually do have a couple more bits of news. New Mass Effect game in the works from BioWare. That's a possibility. That's kind of going. I don't know how people feel about that since Mass Effect 3 was so like,
The company lost their creators, which put together a lot of their games, including Mass Effect. So, much like how Halo kind of picked itself back up, it'll be interesting to see how BioWare handles their new change in direction.
Yeah.
maybe they'll be able to pick themselves up too.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by 3. I haven't even finished it. I don't know. I love 2, but I couldn't get as into it. But you know what? Maybe they'll be able to reinvent themselves like Halo 4.
Let's see. I think that's all the time we have for news. So let's get to our Big Bite topic of the week.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, buttons are back. The new Palm Pilot looks great.
Nope. We're actually going to talk about tablets. And look at this.
Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful artwork.
Oh,
Can
look
you
at
guys see
that.
Beautiful.
Of us. That's me and
beautiful.
Jameson
And
right
it
there.
fits in such a nice mini package, right?
Yeah, you know, this is the iPad mini right here. I was an early adopter of it, and
It's so cute.
I love it. I am a huge fan, and I was someone, if you go back and watch, we did a Big Bite over the summer. I was anti the iPad mini and our Apple discussion. I did not see a place for it, but you know what? I caved in, bought it on day one, and I have to tell you, I have not been so impressed with the product in quite some time.
Yeah?
This is incredible. It is the perfect size.
Is there any other difference from the iPad besides the size?
I think the only
it's
problem...
literally just mini.
The only problem is that it doesn't have the new Retina display. So, this is Apple's first step into smaller, 7-inch kind of tablets. And so, really, the Retina display is what makes the iPad the king of tablets.
I have a hard time going back to use my iPhone now. I used to read articles and use that as one of my main devices, and it is uncomfortable to go back to that small
those
size.
new
I am so
finger-
used to now this size that I don't really use my computer a whole lot anymore. I almost purely use this device.
Really?
The
And
finger swipes enough to just make you
Yeah.
get rid of it. 5 finger swipes to swap through apps.
Yeah, it is incredible. I was completely won over, and I've always been a spectacle. I haven't always been sure of like the iPad size. It's a little too big. I think it's bulky on the sides. But this is the prime size for me. But it's not just Apple that has new tablets here. We've actually got the Microsoft Surface, which I believe you got your hands on.
So I got to play with the Surface tablet. Basically, I feel like Microsoft can't decide whether they want to go for a full tablet or a netbook. It's very, very bulky. The thing about the iPad mini is that it's really light. You don't expect it to be a lot lighter,
Look at that little
but it's
baby.
actually
Look
got
at it.
about the same amount of hardware, but it's still very light. The Surface is thick. It's bulky. You see all the
Yeah.
advertisements with the keyboard, and that comes at a hefty, I think, $119 price tag.
For a keyboard?
Oh my gosh.
So for those familiar with the Xbox, there's the new Metro sort of style for menus, which is a very Apple kind of inspired, different menus you can tap.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But you don't get any of the advanced features that you come to expect with something from Microsoft, but you can switch over to basically what looks like a Windows desktop, and you can get the advanced features, but you're expected to tap these tiny buttons, and it doesn't work out.
How
This
does
is
the keyboard work exactly? I know you said it was a little bit
So
different.
the actual keyboard on the touchscreen
Yeah.
is split into two. So they take the QWERTY keyboard and just chop it and put it on both sides because the size of it is so big that you can't actually reach the middle of it. So yeah, you basically
That's
just have to
awkward.
kind of type at it. Holding
That's
in one
awkward.
hand is very uncomfortable. It does come with its own flap that you can fold out to lay on a desk or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if you're laying it out on your desk to use it, why not just use a desktop computer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't use the Surface extensively, but I tried a little bit. I went to a Microsoft store and saw it, and like, it was the most perfect fitting experience because the employee was so desperate to get me to like want this device. And he was like, "Oh, you're a creative person. Like, you think you have to have a Mac? You don't need a Mac. You can use a Surface." And I was like, I could barely understand. He was talking so fast, and he was like so freaking out pushing this product. And like, I looked
Yeah.
at it, and like, I think I can handle tech, and I was so confused at how you like run the machine where he was like clicking and demonstrating things and like running apps on the same screen. I was like, I don't know
if he
what
could-
you're
at
doing.
least he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, he was able to like make it function properly and everything. I've had experiences going to the Microsoft store where I asked them how to do something really simple and they didn't know how to do it. So I figured it out and told them.
Okay.
Thankfully, it's not like that.
Microsoft Store, you should just hire Marion over here.
I know, right? I'm just like the greatest spokesperson. Sorry. But at least he knew what he was talking about. But I
Yeah.
almost wonder, is that from extensive training? Like, how much training do you need in
Yeah, it
order
was
to
just
sell
confusing.
it?
I mean, like you pick
If
up,
it's
you
not
pick up
gonna be-
the iPad Mini and you know what
know
you're
how to
doing.
use it,
You know
yeah.
what you're doing exactly. And yeah, I think it doesn't have the Retina display, which is a big setback. But in 1 year, you know they're going to have it, and it's going to be the best device I think you can get out there.
The thing to look out for is going to be the Windows Surface tablet with Windows 8 Pro that'll be coming out soon, I think in January, and they'll iron out their kinks because when you think about it, the Surface tablet and the iPad Mini are both new ventures for Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft has never done a tablet before. They've done netbooks before, and this is kind of their transitionary period. And then Apple's never done a smaller tablet, so while they still feel a little stunted, iPad has basically had the smaller iPad. But I think next year the Surface tablet's really going to take a step up where no one's expecting it
Definitely
to.
has
Yeah.
the possibility to do so.
Yeah, I mean, tablets are just taking over. I mean, you've not only got the iPad Mini and the Surface, but you've got the Nexus 7, the Nexus 10.
Yeah.
You have the Kindle Fire HD, and
I
not
mean, they're
even-
just convenient, and
Yeah.
conveniency is everything nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, if you travel, if you're a student, if you're a worker, if you
Yeah.
do this, if you do that, like conveniency with something so small but still like very usable. You
Yeah,
know,
it
unlike your
works.
iPhone where you said now it's hard to read.
Yeah.
That's the perfect size for things like
Exactly.
that. So I feel like it's going to be a big spike.
And then game systems too. I mean, we haven't even talked about the Wii U, and we'll be talking about that next week, a whole episode on it. But like, tablets to control everything, and tablets are really, they're the future. And I for one, am
Touchscreens.
completely a believer after using my iPad Mini. So
I stand by the Nexus 7 as the greatest tablet, though.
I haven't had extensive
Battery
time
life,
with it,
everything, it's perfect.
but really.
Awesome.
$199.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today.
iPad Mini's worth it.
iPad Mini's worth it. That's our review. But we will see you next time. Have a great day.
Bye.
Yum.